r/interestingas frick. Naprius says. High quality photo of the North Tower's impact hole on the 9th of November 2001. Included photo. Francesca Wayland says. Not a single person above the impact zone in the North Tower survived. All the people looking out the windows in this shot perished shortly after this picture was taken. Hookler 626 says. The blurred faces behind windows in the top right corner are haunting. Lucy the Lucid Lover says. I totally missed all those people in the photo until you pointed them out. Unclustered says. Imagine having to choose between a certain death either by fire or gravity. Freakazoid says. I may be wrong, but I thought an expert said if you jumped, you likely died of a heart attack before you hit the ground. Don't know how true that is. But yeah, hard option if not true. Jumping is an instant death at least, albeit a scary fall for a while. If you stay you either burn up or get crushed when things fell. Which might be also a quick death. But given the audio of when it fell from inside, hearing people scream as the floors fell. Maybe not. Rectangle 69 says. Asphyxiation from smoke inhalation would probably get you before the flames. r/interestingas frick. Missilacatedricism says. 1974 photograph showing the true colors of the freshly unearthed Terracotta Warriors before rapid deterioration due to environmental exposures. Included photo. Naomi Homie 89 says. I saw them in person, amazing. Repulsive Cal 8626 says. Red and blue. r/interestingas frick. Amatar Mishra says. 14 elephants broke into a village in Yunan province, looking for corn and other food. They ended up drinking 30 kilograms of corn wine, and got so drunk, that they fell asleep in a nearby tea garden. Included photo. Homie says. Alcohol blackouts vs elephants never forget. Who wins? Mrazwink says. The elephant always wins. Letronal says. Report says that another group of elephants was spotted walking towards them with jiggles and marking pens. Last Chance 23 says. These elephants are living their best life. CPTN Convulsion says. Lucky elephants. Abnormal 2004 says. Imagine the size of the hangover. Kitingerel 2 says. Some experiences are universal. Bartholomew Kneda says. They'll be back. Benthar says. Just another Saturday night in Yunan province. Boatova says. Someone I feel it was less broken to and more saunter. 14 elephants sauntered into a village. I have you a tie need says. I like that their butts are touching. r/interestingas frick. Basic Brown Kid says. The human nervous system dissected by 2 medical students in 1925 over the course of 1,500 hours. There are only 4 fully intact, dissected human nervous systems in the world. Included photo. Username says. That is us right there. The rest of our body is just a meat spacesuit to keep that alive. Menta Mutanto says. That's pretty gruesome when you think about it. 2 people mutilating a body for 1,500 hours. Awesome says. Lol, we all had to put in serious dissection hours in cadaver lab first year of medical school. It's pretty standard to become an MD, not to this extensive degree, but in general. Mrir 11 Chipman says. This gets on my nerves. Panupsire says, this brings me back. When I was 15 or 16 years old, we visited this human museum called Myth of the Human Body or something. It displays all kinds of stuff about human anatomy. I remembered the tour guide saying that all the display was Chinese because they had small penis. Forward entry 222 says, that is disturbing and beautiful. Orphic Dionysus says, I got to take 2 anatomy and physiology courses with cadaver lab components in undergrad, and for the portion which included the CNS I got to help remove the spinal column and major peripheral nerves, while keeping it attached to the brain. We actually had to take a tool that was basically a chisel and carefully break each vertebra at each vertebral arch, the thinner portions between the ridge, which sticks out posteriorly, known as the spinous process, and each of the thicker portions which protrude outwards at around 30 to 45 angles from the spinous process, known as the transverse processes, so we could safely remove the column. Easily one of the coolest things I got to do in college. r/interestingas frick. Nintendo 21 says, this is a robe and axe that belonged to Giovanni Bugatti, who served as the official executioner for the Pope from 1796 to 1864. Over the course of his career, he carried out 514 executions. Included photo. Robe 382 says, he worked for 68 years. Which means he was probably at least in his 80s and still executing people. Wouldn't have wanted him doing me with an axe at that age. Boy says, find a job you love, and you will never have to work a day in your life. Uncertainmusipa says, isn't that also extremely old for that time period? He obviously consumed those souls. Typical Illustrator 62 says, well, I best be heading to work. This guy. Probably. King Kalguna Fakad says, if your religion requires you to have an executioner, then you're probably doing it wrong. Tafat Gorilla says, the Vatican is also a nation. Miyamatoknal says, I heard they have oil. Imnoinglable says, red seems like a good color choice. Soundman Blue 1988 says, it was white when he first started in the execution business. 7135 says, red Bugatti. r/interestingas frick. Unclustered says, Olympic uniforms for Russian and Belorussian athletes proposed by the Czech magazine Reflex. Included photo. Gelatovid says, yeah, let's make innocent people feel guilty for what their dictator is doing. Sounds great. Dankri says, TBF, some Russian athletes were publicly agreeing with the aggression. I remember a Russian athlete who was wearing Z on some competition. But I agree that this is too much. Shocklehass says, AI made. Mayonnaise 85 says, yep. Too many rings and the Olympic logo. Cyanic says, bloody hell. No Tooth 6698 says, give the same to athletes from the USA, UK, Israel, China etc. Vinseviga 0101 says, calm down buddy, not Israel, that would be antisemitism. /s. Pure Reward 8640 says, looks like it can be Canada's Olympic attire. Dreo Eliath says, it would also be fitting with all the native children graves they found at the residential schools. r/interestingas frick. Ubel0xh says, meet Olivia Farnsworth, a 7-year-old girl with a rare condition known as Chromosome 6 deletion. This condition is so unique that Olivia is believed to be the only person in the world who exhibits all three of its most unusual symptoms: an inability to feel pain, hunger, or fatigue. Included photo. It's Sire Boy Banana Boy says, having no pain sounds really great in concept, but it will become a problem once you get a sickness or some kind of internal damage, because you will never know it's there. Imagine having a life-threatening injury and having no clue it's there until it's too late. A Moody says, you don't even need to get that far. Imagine not noticing your hand is burning on a hot stove. Or not having the urge to stop scratching your skin off. Pain is a way of your body telling you something is wrong and to make stop. Without that indicator, one's ability to stop whatever's wrong is severely compromised. They have to substitute manual visual inspection for the most basic instincts that happen on autopilot for most of us. Gringler Doom says, one of my grade school teachers had a family member who couldn't feel pain. Guy needed to grab something from high up in a cabinet and put a hand down to steady himself. Right on the hot stove burner. Didn't realize anything was wrong until he noticed the smell. Garbagicus says, I have whatever the opposite of that is. Cosmic Crap Collector says, throw in a lack of ambition and I'm right in there with ya, brother. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.